Hey, and welcome to Board of Life News from February 28th. Today I'm going to talk about Nyctophobia, Dulosaur Island, Fireball Island, Curse of Volcar, Woodlands, Junk Orbit, and the Kickstarter for Dice Settlers. Let's get to it. Nyctophobia is a new game coming out from Pandasaurus Games. I'm really excited about this release. This has been Unpub, the convention for unpublished games, where you playtest and stuff. It's coming up in March. This has been a big hit at Unpub for the past 2 years. I've gotten to play it, and it's a very innovative, interesting game where players are blindfolded. So everybody plays blind, and there's like a 3D board that you're trying to navigate your way around. And basically, you're lost in a forest, and you're trying to get to your car, and there's a killer somewhere in the forest that's chasing you. So you're feeling your way around the board and trying to like figure out where you are in relation to everybody else. I played it, and it was one of those things where I was just like so sure I knew exactly where I was on the board, and like, okay, yeah, totally. And then we take the blindfolds off. I'm nowhere close. We totally got destroyed and killed by the crazy murderer. But it's an interesting game. I'm glad publishing company figured out how to produce it, because it's, you know, a 3D board that's kind of, you know, tough to make. So yeah, excited for this one. Dulosaur Island is a new game coming out from Pandasaurus Games. It's a standalone 2-player sequel to the very hit game from last year, Dinosaur Island. It's a hand management tableau building game where, of course, you're building a dinosaur park a la Jurassic Park. In it, it's not using the same mechanics from Dinosaur Island. It's new mechanics, but it does have 5 new DNA dice that you can combine in with the base game if you want like a tiny little expansion from it. Fireball Island, Curse of Volcar is coming out from Restoration Games. This is obviously a remake of the very kind of grail gamey 80s game Fireball Island, which Fireball Island is like not a well-designed game or anything. It just had this crazy vacuum-formed 3D board that marbles rolled down and hit your players and stuff like that. It's been a classic in my game group for a long time. We always bust it out late at night when we're just like frustrated beyond belief at the game and yell at each other a lot, and it's a lot of fun. This is kind of what like Restoration Games was built for, where they're bringing old games that have long been out of print and updating them, redoing the rules to kind of make them more modern and redoing them. I'm super excited about this one. This one, the board is significantly larger in that it's a lot deeper, so that it seems like there's a lot more stuff going on. It's going to add snakes, tigers, spiders, trees, and bees. So yeah, very excited about this one. It's just a silly... It's not a dexterity game, but just a silly, random, crazy, fun game with a really interesting board that's people have been trying to... I mean, copies go for like $300 right now on eBay, so excited that this is getting a reprint. Woodlands is a new game coming out from Ravensburger. This kind of looks like a little bit like Karuba, where it's a pathway building game where you're laying tiles to build a path, but in this one, you are building paths on your board that then there's a transparent sheet that you lay over your board to kind of see what you did. So you can like see this sheet and you're trying to build a path to like get the good things on it and avoid the bad things while getting from point A to point B. It looks kind of interesting. Really simple. I like simple games like this, so yeah. Junk Orbit is coming out from Renegade Games. It's designed by Daniel Solis. This is a pick up and deliver set collection game where you're piloting scavenger ships around space, picking up junk and then reselling it at different sites. It seems like there's an interesting movement mechanic where you use the gravitational pull of planets to kind of like guide you around. So that's really interesting. That's exciting. I like games that kind of do that, like Gravwell-esque, kind of like weird spatial stuff. Sorry for the train in the background, but I'm going to keep going anyway. So yeah, this looks interesting. This week's Kickstarter is for Dice Settlers, which not only is the most generic name for a Euro game you could have, it also looks like the most generic Euro game you could have with like hex tiles, and it's a 4X game. But the good news is I really like generic Euro games. So as I said, this is a 4X game. In it, you're bag building a dice pool and then drawing those dice and rolling those dice to figure out what you can do. You can settle, hire, trade, raid, and harvest. Sounds very 4X-y. It's going to have 51 custom dice that look really nice. It's designed by David Turksey, who was one of the designers of the really hit game Anachrony, so hopefully all that pedigree is coming over. So yeah, it seems interesting to me. If you are interested, it's $50 right now on Kickstarter. That's the news for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and follow me on social media. I'm at Chris Bryan Games on Instagram and Twitter. Also, check out my Patreon. Yesterday, I released my design vlog, my monthly design vlog for my $3 and up backers, and that is basically... That video was an overview of kind of all the game designs I'm working on, and in future months it's going to be like kind of going in depth into 1 or 2 different designs and kind of how that works. So if that's interesting to you, if you're interested in that kind of behind the scenes stuff, or if you're an aspiring designer kind of looking for tips and to avoid pitfalls that I may have already fallen into, that's great for you. It's patreon.com/ChrisBryanGames, or there's a link in the description. All right, this week's question comes from @Dan Connolly, and he asks, do you play many app versions of board games? Any recommendations? I have a lot of app versions of board games. I only play one of them regularly, and that is Carcassonne. I would highly, highly recommend it. I've been playing it daily for years since it came out. It's kind of the perfect game for that, where I can look at a screen for 15 seconds and figure out a move, do that, and move on with my day. If I play with other players remotely where it's turn-based. And when I open it, I can remember what I was doing. I find a lot of app games that I play, like Agricola, Stone Age, Lords of Waterdeep, they're all really well done, but I have a lot of trouble if I'm playing remotely turn-based, like if I'm opening it 4 hours later, remembering what I was even doing or why I did that. So I don't play those, and I don't play a lot like against AI or anything like that. I also for a while I was playing Patchwork, and I really liked that one. Again, it's a game that I can kind of open in a couple seconds, kind of remember the whole lay of what I was trying to do, and make some decisions. So I really like ones like that, that are simple enough that I don't have to think much about them. But there are a ton of really, really well designed, really beautiful, like the Tokaido app is gorgeous. If you haven't seen it, they have like this 3D implementation of the board, stuff like that. It's just, for me personally, Carcassonne's kind of the only one that I always play. But I always buy them because they go on sale sometimes, and why not? Yeah, so thanks for the question, and I will see you next week.